tyranny and terror, corrupted dictators posing as your leaders while they poison every leader, pumping fluoride in the water while they rape Iraqi daughters, dumbing down the public, fashion magazines and fodder. Now they slaughter weaker nations, faulty explanations, selling fear to the masses, terror level elevations, revelations is unfolding right before your eyes. Wake up in a FEMA camp, drugged and hypnotized, Fourth Reich's taking over while you focus on your bling. But I bet by this point you haven't heard a damn thing. It's destruction by design, prophesizing every scripture. Take a big step back, see the whole picture. A distraction of the mind to keep you living in a bubble.
We're in a lot of trouble because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. And when the 12th largest company in the world controls the most...
Hello, YouTube. By now, I'm sure most of you have heard the comments made by Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy. The racist comments they claim are racist. Am I saying he's not a racist? No. Am I saying for sure he is a racist? Absolutely not. I do think he chose his words. He should have chosen his words more carefully, definitely. That pretty much goes without saying in my opinion, but I did hear the video and I could see why it would be taken as racist. He has since clarified what he meant on the Alex Jones show. And when it's coming from the New York Times and the fucking mainstream news, I'm not going to take their word for, they can put their twist on anything. Once again, I'm not saying he's not racist. I don't know the man personally, but I'm not going to say for sure he is either. The words that he chose to describe what he was saying, if he meant them in a non-racist way, he definitely did not put them in a way that would make it clear that you're not racist. So what I'm going to do first is play the video of his comments, and I do apologize beforehand because the audio on these YouTube videos is very low. I tried to find one that was more prominent and loud, but I could not. So if you can't hear it, you may have heard it already somewhere else, but I'm going to play it for you.
The Negro. I want to tell you one more thing I know about the Negro. When I go through Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and I would see these little government houses, and in front of that government house, the door was usually open, and the older people and the kids, and there's always at least a half a dozen people sitting on the porch. They didn't have nothing to do. They didn't have nothing for their kids to do. They didn't have nothing for their young girls to do. And because they were basically on government subsidy, and so now what do? They abort their young children. They put their young men in jail because they never learned how to pick cotton. And I've often wondered, are they better off as slaves picking cotton, having family life and doing things, or are they better off under government subsidy? Yeah, they did get no more freedom. They got less freedom. They had less family alive, and their happiness you can see in their faces. They weren't happy sitting on that concrete sidewalk. Down there, they were probably growing their turnips. So that's all government. That's not freedom.
All right. Well, I see part of what he's saying. The part about how they're in government subsidized housing. I get that. And how they are pretty much slaves to the government. And in one way or the other, we are all slaves to the federal government. So, and I understand what he's saying. Would they be better off farming and stuff? But they were still slaves. Let's be honest. And some were whipped and beaten. So, if you're being whipped and beaten, I don't see how you'd be better off than sitting on a porch in a government house, government housing. But like I said, if that's what he was trying to say, he could have said a lot different. Now, there's the video of him with Alex Jones trying to clarify his statements. Now, this video I have not listened to completely yet, so I heard the beginning of it. So this will be my first time hearing the whole interview. So it may be your first time too. Let me see here. I gotta bring it up. Okay, here it is. I will play it from the beginning, and this one should be a little bit louder, I do believe. So, here we go.
Cliven Bundy, exclusive, responding to this. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm quite excited about the respond, really. First, I want to tell the black community that I've gained more respect and more love for you the last few weeks than I've ever had. And I am concerned about the individual person, each one of you. And now this is a statement, and put it this way. I said, I'm wondering if you're better off. Your young women are having abortions, and your young men are being thrown in jail. And your older women are sitting out on the sidewalk with your children and grandchildren, and they don't seem to be happy. And what I'm wondering is, are you better off in this type of slavery than you were when you was home with your family unit, with your gardens, with your chickens, with your men working, and your family life? Are you better off now, or were you better off then? I'm wondering these things.
What do you think of the New York Times trying to take this out of context and spin it?
Well, I haven't really read that, and I don't know for sure. But yeah, if they think I'm racist, they're totally wrong. And if I think I'm wondering, are they better off under the old system of slavery, or are they better off under the welfare slavery that they're under now? I'm not saying the one way or the other, but I am wondering. It seems to me like maybe they were happier. Maybe they did have better families, and their family structure was better. And so, that's the question in my mind. And
undoubtedly,
there is a question.
Well, undoubtedly, I'm not endorsing slavery or segregation. They were two Byzantine feudal systems. Sharecroppers were under similar systems. But undoubtedly, the statistics of black communities, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 90% legitimacy, fathers at home. In fact, I've seen even Harvard's own numbers and Princeton's own numbers. We've done reports on this. Lower crime rates than the white community in the 30s. And I remember you saying over and over again, unprompted, we can pull up the clips, that everyone around the world you believe has a good soul and wants freedom. You said in every country in the world. So how is that you're saying everybody worldwide wants freedom, but you don't like black people?
And I know black people want freedom, and I know that their souls are good. Individually, I know that. And that's what our Constitution was all about, is to be able to, these people to be able to exercise their agency, be able to feel free, be able to speak, be able to go and do the things, to be able to experiment, and for sure be able to have good families. That's what our founding fathers want, and I know that's what our Heavenly Father wants for them. For them and for us, there's no difference between them and us. We're all the same. And our Heavenly Father loves us the same. He gives us the same opportunity, and we are the same. And so there's no prejudice in my mind at all. Why this subject was brought up is we had a party, a gathering here last Friday, and I invited the ethical groups, but there's very few of them come. Most of the people that come a lot of them were from the eastern coast. A lot of them, they were basically white people. So when I got through, I questioned, why aren't you people here? And so I expressed sort of some of my feelings here about how I felt about them. And they put them, they made it sound like I was prejudiced. I wasn't prejudiced. I was actually inviting them to the party. And we're actually going to have another party this Friday, camp, along the Virgin River. I said, my ranch has a swimming pool 30 miles long. Come and enjoy it.
Cliven, if there was a black farmer or a rancher, say in Kansas, having the same thing happen to him, now that people came to your aid, would you or your family come to a black farmer's aid?
Let me explain something maybe even closer. Right now, there's a black man right in my front yard right now in the militia, and he has been protecting my family. He's been coming to my home, eating with me and eating with my family, mingling back and forth through my house, day and night, and I can't see anything different about him than any of the other boys that's coming in and out of here. We love him and respect him the same as we do anyone else. I think he feels as comfortable as anybody else. And that's really the way we're supposed to feel about each other. And it's an example going right here on in my home right now.
Do you think the New York Times knows they're lying on purpose or spinning this?
I don't know. I'm in front of the media for a lot of hours every day, and I sure have never indicated that I was prejudiced. Like I said, I did actually miss the ethnic groups, and I've asked, "Where are you?" And in other words, why would I ask if I wasn't concerned?
I knew what I was going to get when I called him. I said, "What does this mean?" He goes, "I didn't really say all that. That's wrong. I meant it's one evil for another, government slavery." Because that's all conservatives ever talk about. I mean, it's just, I've heard it literally 1,000 times from black conservatives on this show. But again, that's how they do it. And they go find, a rural hayseed who might have been from 100 years ago, will just straight shoot you. I mean, all he talks about is everybody's got good souls on the whole earth, and it's all love. And I can just hear him, and where are the minorities here? We need them here. But they're in government slavery. That turns into racism.
What do you think about the FBI?
All right, well, you heard the other side of it. I mean, by what he's saying right here, sounds like that's not what he meant. But do I know him personally? No. So all I can do is take his word for it. And you have to make your own decision. I could see how what he said originally, some of it could have been construed as racism, so that's why I wanted to put both sides on here. And if what he says is true and he's got a black man staying with him, then that would pretty much indicate he's not racist. I mean, if you're a true hardcore racist, a black man's not going to be in your house. He's not going to be there defending you and your family from the government. You're not going to want him there. That's all I know. And like I said before, could have chosen his words different. I definitely would have, hopefully. But then again, sometimes when you're in front of the camera, I suppose you could say something and not mean it the way it comes out. I don't care. I mean, I don't know. I didn't mean I didn't care. I meant I didn't know what was going through his mind when he said what he said in the first interview. So who knows? But and it's obvious too. They are looking for any reason to discredit him. Of course, the media is. The mainstream news, that is. I mean, let's face it. That's their job. Anybody who's against the socialism and the government, they're not going to be on their side. If they're mainstream media. You know that, and so do I. So, as far as him saying the word Negro, according to Wikipedia, the word Negro is used in the English-speaking world to refer to a person of black ancestry or appearance. The word Negro denigrates black in the Spanish and Portuguese, derived from the ancient Latin word nigger, which is N-I-G-E-R, by the way, not with two G's. Black, which itself ultimately is probably from a Proto-Indo-European root. To be dark, akin to knock, or night. So, it's not the same as the word nigger, which is a lot of people, if you look that one up in the dictionary, it's considered as a lazy person. So the word Negro and the word nigger are not the same, by the way. And as far as that word goes, I hear people say the word nigger all the time that are black, so. He did say the word Negro, but a lot of people say the word Negro. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's being used in a racial way. So, I'm sure the story's not going to go away for a while. The media's going to hype it and hype it. We all know that. Also, what I find really stupid, and I'm not surprised about that, is that the mainstream news is already saying, well, look at these people that support them. They got to feel pretty stupid right now, and this and that, and the GOP and this and that. Well, you know what? I could defend somebody because of what's happening to them, and they could turn around and say something that I don't agree with, how am I responsible for that? You have to separate the two issues. And I would tell anybody who thinks he's a racist now, that's their opinion, they're entitled to it, but you can't take that and say, oh, well, I'm not going to support this over here, what's happening to him, because those are two different issues. It's like the KKK, okay? I don't agree with the KKK. Or the Black Panther Party. I don't agree with them either. But if one of those groups was being silenced and their First Amendment right was being violated, I would be there just the same for either side on that issue alone. Not because I believe with racist ideas that the KKK holds, but they still have the right to say whatever they want. That's true. That is the true free speech in this country. Is people have the right to say what they want, whether it's stupid, ignorant, or hateful. They're entitled to say it. And I know people are going to say, well, you can't yell fire in a crowded room, it causes panic. Well, if you yell fire in a crowded room and causes panic and people get hurt, that's totally different too. You can be charged with inciting danger or a riot or whatever you want to call it, but you can't be charged with yelling the word fire. You understand? Free speech is free speech. But yelling the word fire purposely to create panic and people get hurt is a crime in a sense, but it's not a crime against the First Amendment. Anyway, that's it. You make up your mind on these comments he made. I see how he clarified himself. So all I can do is take his word for it. But I don't know the man personally. Just thought I'd share this later.